Before the break, I talked with Michael Kroger about how weak the Albanese government been in reacting to the Hamas terrorists. Well, here's another sign of weakness, because there's a growing pattern here, isn't there? A really worrying one. China has just threatened us again, very directly. Just before Saturday's election in Taiwan, a democracy that China says it should take over, a China ambassador to Australia, he warned us not to encourage Taiwan to think it's independent, or else. He said if Australia is tied to the chariot of Taiwan separatist forces, the Australian people would be pushed over the edge of an abyss. Now, what other country threatens us like that? It's so juvenile. And listen to these thugs now. For many months, China's been trying to intimidate the Taiwanese, threatening war, sending fighter jets into airspace controlled by Taiwan as if they're really going to attack this time. But the Taiwanese on Saturday still voted for a new president who was the most anti-communist China of the three candidates. China's foreign minister was furious, and again with these bully boy threats.
Taiwan has never been a country. Anyone on the island of Taiwan who wants to pursue Taiwan independence or split China's territory will be severely punished by history and law.
And what is the Albanese government's response to the communist dictatorship's threats to us here and to the Taiwanese? To this outrageous bullying? Nothing. Silence. Joining me is the panel, Federal Liberal MP Garth Hamilton and Steve Chavura, Senior Lecturer in History at Campion College and co-author of The Forgotten Menzies. Now, Steve, start with you. China threatens us, no response from this government, smart politics or weak?
Well, it's both, because there's nothing stopping Albanese from even the mildest rebuke and reminding China that we are actually a sovereign state and we can relate to other other regions the way that we want. But also, he's probably got in the back of his mind the fact that China cancelled all our wine trades back in COVID when Scott Morrison demanded an apology for China's caginess and secrecy around that, and demanded an investigation. So there's that going on as well. But Labor will always be weaker when it comes to China because they're divided on the AUKUS alliance. And as long as Labor has a close arrangement with the Greens, they will always have trouble being as close to America as the Liberal Party and the Liberal coalition would like us to be. So Labor's always going to be weak when it comes to China.
Garth, what do you make of this, Garth Hamilton?
Look, I think China's made its assessment of our Prime Minister. They see him as someone that they can bully around and who won't speak back to them. So you were right, there is a pattern of behaviour we're seeing, and I think we can expect it to continue. I would add to this the injuries caused to our naval divers not that long ago, that our Prime Minister did everything he could to shirk any responsibility for having to speak up and defend on their behalf. So look, I think this will continue. Sadly, China's not going to change their path, and clearly Mr Albanese is not going to change his.